Mhm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Complete Crock. I'm your host, King Crocoduck, and today we are not able to have the academic agent with us. He's having some vehicle problems, but we do have Sargon of Akkad with us, and as always, we have Zarathustra Serpent as well. So why don't you two say hello?
Hello.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a sort of weak replacement for academic.
I said say hello, nothing else. Jesus fucking Christ, Sargon.
That's the kind of charisma I was talking about. Assertiveness, I love it.
Well, today we're going to be talking about some movies and some movie reviews that have been going around the internets, particularly Black Panther and The Last Jedi. Uh, Zarathustra, which one do you want to start out with, since you were the one who initiated this?
Let's start with The Last Jedi. And shall I begin?
Yes, please.
Okay, so well, I'm someone who always analyzes stuff, and I've taught myself to when I'm watching a movie to just enjoy the movie and not try to analyze it while I'm watching it. So and only after that analyze it. So I asked myself then how I felt about the movie. So when I watched it, uh, Last Jedi, well, I was bored throughout the second act. That was that was a bad thing, and also I felt it was very obvious to me, too obvious that they were trying to sell me stuff. Disney was trying to sell me stuff. The whole Canto Bite thing was just to sell you cute horses, and but I did enjoy the movie mainly because it had plot twists which were unexpected. Now I watched it again a few days ago, and I enjoyed it much less this time because I knew the plot twists already, and the plot twists are not really good for the story. Um, that's why I think the movie will not be remembered well. It will be remembered less positively than it was received initially, which wasn't really good. Um, but there's something interesting about it, which I find interesting, and people haven't been talking about it. But I find it to be a Buddhist movie, and this is something that is quite interesting. This whole idea of Luke just dissolving. I mean, Buddhism is about basically the oneness of existence. The aspiration of Buddhism is to dissolve into this oneness, and the claim is that everything you do, as an individual, is kind of meaningless, and you see it in this movie that the individualism is shown to be kind of meaningless. That the actions taken by the people, a lot of them don't lead to anything, whereas it's all leading eventually uh, to just this dissolving into the Force by Luke, and actually there is in the mysticism of Star Wars, the whole Force thing. It is possible to go in that direction, but I think they did a bad job with it on a few on the execution, because another one was supposed to be that was Admiral Holdo, which Leah
Was that Admiral Gender Studies? Yeah.
yeah Leah says about after she wakes up, and she explains to what's his name,
Is it Poe?
Poe. Yeah, she explains to him, Holdo doesn't she's not about ego. She just wants to, and that's also a Buddhist thing. The problem is her action seems to be all about ego. This whole fight with Poe, it is not given any other explanation of why she was treating Poe this way. It seems like a total battle of egos, and
Can I just add something there? I think my problem with her interaction with Poe is that it seems to have been a meta narrative.
Yeah.
That's my entire problem with it, because it doesn't fit the characters. I mean, why would she tell the next most senior ranking like captain nothing about the plan? What does she think, he's going to defect to the Empire or something? It's unnecessarily authoritarian, and it's a really bad maneuver. If you were a general, the last thing you would do is keep your plan secret from your captains. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it just breaks all kinds of bonds of trust between the general, the captains, and the soldiers. And in any military, you need these. I mean, like, soldiers won battles on the reputation of their general alone, because they would have the confidence that the general had a plan, even if the general didn't really have a plan. And so they would just stand and fight while the other team might turn and run, not having confidence in their own general. And so a lot of the time, like, that sort of just the sort of force of will, the confidence it gives people is enough. And so deliberately severing that, it just infuriated me. But the thing is, the Empire or the First Order or whatever were no better. I mean, like, the what was it? Snoke is the gargantuan bad guy in that, and he regularly just humiliated his underlings in front of their underlings, and it's just like, God, this is awful. You know, I can't believe anyone's going to win this.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is that power structures are inherently evil.
They're not. That's the thing. They're necessary for a military.
But what I think they were going for with Holdo, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what they were going for is, okay, here's this female captain and here's this male underling who doesn't like it that a female is telling him what to do, and his own ego is getting in the way. You know, in the end, it would have been better if he'd have just listened to the woman. But, you know, the execution, as you say, completely fell flat on its face. Now, instead, we get the message that women should not be put into positions of leadership. Because the kind of...
This movie, you know, it was supposed to be feminist, but it actually feels like it was written by someone who believes that women are incompetent and should not be should stay in the kitchen, basically. Because
definitely,
it's not just Holdo. It's basically all the women just take terrible decisions which almost destroy the Republic. And if it's not for Luke coming in, you know, Deus Ex Machina in the end, everybody would be dead because of decisions taken by women.
That's literally it. The women are actually responsible for the triumph of the First Order and the end of the Republic. Now they all live in exile. It's like, oh, good job, ladies, well done.
Yeah,
maybe you should humiliate Poe some more. Maybe that'll stop the Empire.
I mean, Finn goes on, you know, the suicide run to basically save everybody. Yeah, which is also I mean, self-sacrifice is part of the movie. It's also kind of this Buddhist theme, but with him it's rational. He's trying to save everybody. So and then comes what's her name, Rose, and does a suicide run to basically for selfish reasons, to save just him, just to save her, the man that she loves, and sacrifice everybody else, and
him too. I mean, where was she planning to go? Yeah. She just destroyed both of their bloody ships. The Empire's about to take out the last base they have. What the fuck was her plan? It was ridiculous. It's so disempowering as well. Because Finn basically did nothing in the first film. He basically did nothing in the second film. And suddenly he's about to do something really dramatic and save the day. And she's like, nah, I'm not going to let you. Sorry. Oh, how about I kiss you without consent? How's that? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I didn't like this Rose character. I don't think anybody did. But the anti-capitalism part in the second act, I thought was really forced. You know, where they're in the casino and we're... Yeah,
and like I said, it seems anti-capitalist. It was actually a capitalist ploy to sell you horses. This is really how it felt like to me. They were going out of their way to. It's like, look, I think that what happened was the producers came to the director and told him, look, we have this animal that we've created, and we want to sell dolls. You have to put it into the movie somehow. So they created this
foxes. Same with the foxes on the Salt Planet.
Yeah. And those fucking animals that Chewbacca was eating.
Yeah, porgs.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't mind the porgs, but the others were just. It seems the others seemed really going out of their way to introduce them.
I just had a really woke realization. So the people who made this movie are actually anti-feminists and pro-capitalists, who wanted to make a really bad movie, so bad that that appears to be in favor of anti-capitalism and pro-feminism. But because it's done so badly, they're going to end up red pilling everybody who watches.
I don't think that's by design. I think it's by incompetence.
Yeah.
But I think the outcome will be, as you say. Can we talk about the meta narrative for a bit? Because this is something that just screamed out of the movie at me, because I guess because I follow the politics that's going around it all so much. They love the term dog whistle, and then they have some Admiral Tumblr coming up with pink hair. It's like, if that's not a dog whistle, I don't know what is. And then she starts acting like a domineering wife towards Poe, or a domineering mother. It's like the worst female archetype you could possibly put in. She's a complete bitch. And as soon as Poe enters into his rebellion, who's not rooting for Poe? Oh no, let Admiral Dennis just completely fuck everything up and not tell him anything and treat him like a bitch. Why not? You don't need any self-respect, Poe. Fuck you. It seems so contrived to make it like a sort of high point for feminists, so they're like, yeah, fuck Poe. He's just a cis white male, and he wasn't even a cis white male, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Masculinity.
And it's not just Poe who went on a mutiny. There were many who joined him.
Yeah, that blonde chick with the interesting hair.
Yeah, because she was a terrible leader, Holdo. Yeah, and another thing I want to talk about. Basically Star Wars at first was a medieval epos. Yeah, it's about knights, a cast of knights, and people with the special powers because of they have a special blood. So it's like a medieval thing, and I think that what they're going for, the direction that they're trying to go to is that they're trying to democratize it. Where it's going to is in the end that the Force is going to destroy the Empire, the First Order. Not some hero, not some human hero. It's going to be the Force. But the thing is, because they went in this direction of basically Buddhism, it's not democracy is about individuals. This direction is anti-individual, and basically you can look. Democracy is more boring than medieval stories of knights. And I mean, look at the prequels of Star Wars. Yes, that was democracy. So what it was a Senate commissions and all this boring.
It was a republic, a functioning republic, apparently.
Yeah. It's just it makes it's a better system to live under, but it makes for a boring movie. More boring than medieval knights who go on but here they went in this direction of just and if you're trying to democratize, you should at least focus on individuals and make it epic. They seem to have no understanding of how to make an epic movie. They just I've heard that there was supposed to be a scene in it that got cut, where after Luke is told that Han is dead, we see him grieving, and then they cut to Leia, who is also grieving, and it's suggested that there's a connection between them. They're connecting and they're both grieving Han. Now that would have been a great scene. That's what we want to see. That's those characters that we have are important to us. That are part of our lives. Have been part of our lives for 40 years, and all of us were just cast aside for characters that we don't care about. And
not only that, we can't care about. That's the thing, because all of the writing is really forced. You know, the I never felt like the new main characters, like, you know, when the Korean diversity hire crashes into Finn, I wasn't sat there going, "Oh shit, are they dead?" I knew they weren't dead. You know, I didn't think for a second there was any risk to their lives, and I should. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? You know, if they've just got plot armor, there's, you know, I just don't care. And it's the same with Rey. I mean, holy shit, I've never cared about a character less. You know, and I always just compare these sort of characters to Ripley and Aliens. You know, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I did not know that Ripley was going to be the main character of Aliens. You know, I didn't know she was going to survive. But Rey, you know, she's going to win every time with no problems, and it's an indefensible character. It really annoys me.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, speaking of diversity, this movie is anti-diversity. The whole movies that are pro-diversity are supposed to make you care about accept the other. Now, with movies like Star Wars, with science fiction movies, it's they introduce aliens. You know, you have to learn to accept aliens, alien planets with different systems. All that this is how it opens your mind to think in a more diverse way. In this movie, the aliens are reduced to nothing. Basically, you know, Chewbacca doesn't do anything.
Yeah, what's the point of Chewie being in the entire bloody movie? What's the point?
Fan service. What little fan service they were willing to muster.
Yeah, Snoke is killed off.
Admiral.
Yeah.
I don't know about Snoke being killed off, because hold on. Remember, you know, it doesn't seem right that the guy's gonna, you know, just bite the big one all of a sudden for no reason. I think that he was projecting himself. That wasn't the real Snoke. That he was doing the same trick Luke was doing in the end, and that Snoke is actually going to reappear in the last one.
That'll be the world's biggest cop out if that's true.
Yeah.
But if that was true, why didn't he take action after he was apparently killed?
I think he wanted to see whether he would be betrayed.
Again, if that's true, I think that's cheap.
Yeah, I don't think that's the direction they're going in. But anyway, to finish the point, Admiral Akbar, who became, you know, a beloved character because of the internet, is just they get rid of him. They just kill him off with no
doesn't matter to them at all. And this is actually my okay. So I'm not really a Star Wars fan. You know, I mean, I watched the films when I was a kid. I enjoyed them well enough. You know, they were just part of pop culture when I was a kid. They've been around long enough. You know.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and the thing is, I had friends who really loved them. You know, who really, really resonated with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and all of this sort of stuff. And I understood it, and you know, it was fine. I had different things. But watching the way that they treated legendary characters like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Leia and Chewie, it actually actively annoyed me. And it's like, wow, I'm actually annoyed for some people I don't know, I don't really care about, but I can feel their fucking pain when Luke Skywalker is drinking titty milk in this fucking film. It's like, where is the dignity of Luke Skywalker? He's the last master Jedi. Come on, you fucking assholes.
Like I said, no appreciation of the epic.
No, none at all. And like, one thing that drove me nuts as well, right? It's like, okay, so you've managed to get the main original cast back together for a series of films. They don't spend any time on screen together.
Yeah.
The only thing that happens is like the Han Solo and Leia meet and they're like, oh, well, we've been divorced for 30 years. Fucking who wrote this? You know, they were meant to live happily ever after, and they got divorced.
Yeah. Well, at least in The Force Awakens, there were emotional moments. There were some. You had some emotional moments.
It felt forced to me. It didn't feel right.
What was the deal with Rey's parents? I was expecting more.
Well, I can answer this one. It's because she's a forced character, and they didn't fucking think about it. I watched an interview with I can't remember whoever directed J. Abrams. Yeah, and they were saying they don't have a master plan for this. They didn't have like a huge backstory written for her, and so when it was like passed off to Rian Johnson, he had nothing to fucking work with. So he's like, "Oh yeah, your parents are nobodies, and really you shouldn't be in this story." Oh, brilliant! I mean, it's a story about bloodlines. It's a story all about. I mean, it's the never-ending joke about Star Wars. Is everyone related to everyone else in this universe? It's like, well, it's an aristocratic universe. It's it would be like a medieval world, exactly as you're saying, Serpent. It's a sort of it's a feudal world set in space. Okay, I can buy that. It makes for an exciting story. It makes exciting characters. There's already a system of investment in it. The characters all have something that they are born into, whether they like it or not. And so now it's about them accepting their destiny and all this. It's like, wow, that is an exciting story. And here comes Rey. She's fucking amazing at everything. No one knows who she is. No one needs her. And fuck off. It's so forced.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, it's going in the direction. I mean, we saw these kids in the end also have the Force. It's going in the direction where just the Force will just produce an army of people we don't care about who will take down this is how I think that it will go, or the Force itself will do something, and that's not interesting. That's not
diverse, won't it? There'll be all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds, and they'll be like, look at the skin tones of these actors. Isn't this diverse? This is so progressive.
Yeah, so everyone is going to be so empowered by seeing someone who kind of sort of looks like them on screen holding a lightsaber. It's going to change their life.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, why am I spending my entire life being a fucking janitor paying the bill? I should be a fucking Jedi. Fuck this.
No, that's exactly it. And the thing that drives me nuts is like I play video games and watch films where there are no humans in it. I don't need a human to be able to relate to someone. I need an interesting character. That's all I need. Just a character with defined goals and motives and obstacles to overcome and emotional connections. But I don't have any of that with diversity movies because that's not the purpose of them at all. It's about it's the most sort of like base thing. Hey, here's someone who looks like you, therefore you like this. It's like, no, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we can relate since we're humans. We can relate to any kind of human. We don't have to be the same color, or so maybe. I mean, if we talk about the Black Panther, maybe black people can relate.
You've got a great point. But before we change subjects, you've got a great point there, right? Anthropomorphizing is something that humans do to fucking everything. And did you guys watch Community?
No.
Oh, it was really great, right? There's a character called Jeff on it who's a complete smartass, and he's teaching his little group about relating to things actually. And he picks up a pencil and then gives the pencil a name. And it's like, right, so I've now, and he's doing this a lot quicker than I'm doing it. I've anthropomorphized this pencil. He's got a wife and 2 kids, and then he snaps the pencil, and one of them's like, oh no, and that's the thing. You can give a story to anything. You can anthropomorphize anything, and you can make people relate to fucking anything. I mean, like robots, just non-human characters, anything with agency can be related to agency and feelings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, yeah.
So yeah, I did build this talk as a talk about Black Panther and Black identity, but I'm glad that we got the Last Jedi out of the way. Now we're gonna enter some territory where I know there's some disagreement between us. So why don't you start this one off again, Zarathustra? Okay. I understand you took issue with Sargon's take on it.
Not very much. I just think again that some things are the discussion about it. No, not just Sargon. Some things get missed, and here we actually have a reverse thing where it's going medieval. It's going. I mean, there's no medieval in Africa, but it's going to basically there are no kingdoms in Africa anymore except Swaziland. And here we have this kingdom, but I think the thing that people are forgetting is that this is not about our world. This is part of the Marvel universe, and in the Marvel universe, it has already been established that magic is real, and it's basically a technology and science that we don't know. That's number one. Number two, that aliens have come to Earth and passed on this technology to some people, which we call, which magic, which means number three, that African shamans have hold this knowledge and basically have a privy to knowledge that is different from science, but is real, different from Western science, but is real.
Are you saying that it's explainable how the shaman calls the lightning?
It's.
Are you saying that they've decolonized science? Sorry, I'm just messing.
No, I'm saying that if in this universe, we are talking about basically alien science, which they have access to,
yeah,
and they have access to this vibranium, which has been established as well, that is some kind of element that is has really special attributes. And now, if if that existed, it actually makes sense. You said that this backward society that is basically an absolute monarchy will not be this advanced. But I think that, like I said, if all the things that I mentioned are true, it actually will remain an absolute monarchy. It will not change. It will not take on Western basically democracy, because they don't have to. They have this. They're advancing in their own way and remain basically an old African monarchy. So basically, so that's my problem with the discussion about this. People are forgetting that it's part of the Marvel universe, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the part that annoyed me the most. I'm hearing some echo from someone's end. Hold on. Does someone have the stream on in the back, or? Okay, it's better now. Yeah, but the thing that annoyed me the most was this idea, this perpetual myth, that if only Africa had not been colonized, they would have Wakanda right now. And that's kind of bullshit.
Look, can I kind of respond to what Zarathustra said? Is there a shorter name I can call you?
No, my name is Arad.
Sorry, remind me. Say again, please.
Arad.
Arad, yeah. So sorry, I like using people's screen names because I feel it's respectful. But your screen name is really long.
Yeah, ZS. Okay,
it's a mouthful to say.
ZS. Yeah.
Yeah, ZS. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not a fan of the Marvel films at all. So I don't know about the extended lore of the Marvel universe. But the problem I have with literally everything about Wakanda as a concept is that it's total horseshit from start to finish. Literally every single thing, every pillar that makes up the idea of Wakanda is nonsense. So first things first, like meteorite with magical metal comes and lands in this ground, giving them the ability to develop this amazing technology. Okay, so what does the original Black Panther do, the very first one? He takes over 5 tribes and then sets up this protectionist ethno-state.
Yeah.
Why would he do this? This was what, thousands of years ago or something? Why would he stop at 5 fucking tribes and be like, right, now we have to hide from the world? No. No human society in all of human history would do that. What they would do is conquer every fucking thing. It would be the Wakandan ethno-state would be the size of Africa, if not the world, given the disparity in technology that they have. So the idea that they would just, we'll just stop here. Why? Why would you do that? Absolutely no fucking reason. Secondly, why would they give a shit about colonization? They are so phenomenally powerful. When the British turned up with, muskets or rifles or whatever. They're just like, hey, we have flying saucers. We're just going to wipe you out. Why? We're not afraid of colonization. You should be afraid of us. It makes no sense that they would even give like when they use the term colonizer. What the? It's nonsense. You wouldn't have developed the mindset of a victim if you were so powerful, and that's the thing that annoys me the most about the concept of Wakanda. It's like it's a super advanced nation built on the idea of victimhood. It's like no, it would be the opposite. I mean, and that to me really ruins the atmosphere of Black Panther, because what it means is it's just a power fantasy. I feel bad for the people who need it. I genuinely do. I'm like, wow, that's something sad.
I got a bit of a different feel from it, actually. I thought that it was pitting, this victim mentality that you're talking about.
I'm actually not finished on that, but sorry, we'll carry on. Yeah, carry on.
Oh.
I've got more to complain about.
Well, I thought that the victim mentality you're describing here was closer to what Killmonger was conveying. That was represented by Killmonger. Whereas
that, but his sister called the white guy colonizer. It was just part of the lexicon. Why would you do that?
She was just being facetious.
I don't think she was.
I think she was just trying to be cute with him.
I think that's a generous interpretation, and given the political atmosphere around it and the way that the term has been kind of taken out, I don't know if I agree.
Well, I don't know. I can kind of foresee a possible future, a better future, where we could move past this victim nonsense, and where Black people could refer to white people endearingly as colonizer.
Really?
In that context, I don't know. I think it would be. I think she was just trying to be cute, but whatchamacallit?
That's not what I got from it, but maybe that's just me.
Well, this victim mentality, I see it more, in Killmonger, whereas Black Panther, if you really look at the differences in their dreams, the dreams they were having when they consumed the plants, right? Mm-hmm. T'Challa, he ends up in this kind of savanna, and there are all these panthers, and he sees his ancestors, and he sees he sees an identity. This kind of represents the core of his identity, and it's rooted in a bloodline that is all about responsibility and all about family. Whereas this other one, this other guy in his dream, he's in Oakland, where his father was murdered, and Oakland, 1992, where the movie starts out. This is where the whole Rodney King thing happened. It's meant to represent police brutality. Mm-hmm. This is meant to represent the victim mindset. Yep. That's his identity. His identity is the room where his father was murdered. His identity is that book that he went through, which shows his entire history, which was taken from him.
It's valid for Killmonger, though. That's the thing, because he didn't grow up in Wakanda, did he? He grew up in New York or whatever.
That's California.
Wherever. I don't know. I'm terrible with US geography. But he grew up outside of Wakanda, so he didn't grow up with the sort of Wakandan mindset, which should be a lot more confident and expansionist for obvious reasons.
No, but what I'm saying is one of these identities is rooted in victimhood, and the other one is rooted in a kind of, I want to say, a familial tradition coupled to responsibility. This is like the dream he was having. That's like a Black Jordan Peterson's clean room, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas the other one is just chaos. It's Oakland, 1992.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which
is why it's found Killmonger, I think.
Well, anyway, I do think they were a little bit too sympathetic to Killmonger. His last line of bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from the ships. They were being a little bit too sympathetic, maybe with the victim mindset. But I think ultimately the audience is meant to identify with T'Challa and meant to identify with this kind of, this is the better identity to have, this identity that's rooted in I don't really want to say tradition, but it's something other than the victimhood, the victim mindset that Killmonger was obsessing over.
Yeah.
And you'll even see like news articles saying, "Oh, I can't see Killmonger as anything but the good guy in this situation." These are the radicals. These are the people.
I'm gonna do a video about it because his plan is literally
It's Maoism.
Well, it's Mein Kampf. It's the first page of Mein fucking Kampf. I'm not joking. It's literally. I've got it on my desk. Hang on, I'll find it. I'll read it. It's literally Hitler's plan, and it's like, okay, and it would just replace Jews with white people and Germans with blacks, and there you go. You've got Black Hitler right there, and it's like, okay, great.
You're probably right, but there's also the Maoist element of his whole thing was getting the colonized people around the world to go up against their oppressors, but. Yeah, we're not meant to identify with Killmonger, but the radicals do, and they should be nervous, I think, at the commercial success of Black Panther, and the fact that people are not identifying with Killmonger. You're not getting people who are dressing up as Killmonger for Halloween. They're dressing up as Sorry?
They're not dressing up as T'Challa, are they?
No, they're not going to be dressing up as Killmonger. They're going to be dressing up as T'Challa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Look. First of all, this is based on a comic which began in the 1970s about this isolationist country. I'm not familiar with it, but I just know. And basically, I mean, the idea behind this thing is basically to treat an entire country like a superhero. It has a secret identity. So the country has a secret identity which it hides from the world. So I think this is what the initial idea was, and it makes sense to put it in Africa, because the world looks at Africa and sees only shitholes, and so it's funny that to have one country that is actually the most advanced, which hides itself. So I can see. The great thing about the Marvel movies and why they're so successful for like 10 years now, there are certain themes that are developing from movie to movie, even though it's all the same universe and it's different characters. And lately there are certain themes which they have been dealing with, which this movie also deals with, and every movie deals with differently. I mean, this movie is very, very similar to the movie that came before it, which is Thor Ragnarok, which had basically the same story of this kingdom where the father dies, the king dies, and there's a fight between two people. One of them wants to use the power for good, and the other wants to be an imperialist. And in Thor it had one solution, and here it had a different solution. And the fact that this country is not a democracy is not shown to be positive. It's actually bad for the country that it's not. It almost goes to shit because it's not a democracy, because it's an absolute monarchy. And I think from here we will see it developing in because there will be I mean, Sargon, you talked about the fact that the romance between the hero and his girl was not developed. Yeah, it's going to be developed in future movies. You have to remember, this is not a standalone movie.
That's true.
And also this theme of I mean, another theme that I've been dealing with lately is the theme about responsibility that comes with power. I mean, that they had this before Thor there was Spider-Man, which like T'Challa, he's a young man who has a lot of power, and he has to figure out what to do with it. So with great power comes great responsibility. I think that's Spider-Man's slogan.
Yeah, I appreciate there's a wider context for all of this. But like on its own merits, because I'm not a fan of it, I was just watching this thinking this is cringe. Like the idea that you've got like a Sumerian style like god king, because I mean this is why I use the Epic of Gilgamesh as the example, because the point of Gilgamesh is that it was like 2/3 god, so he couldn't be defeated. by a mortal man, and that's the point of Black Panther. He's invulnerable to like everything because he's got this suit and he's drunk this special potion, and so he may as well be 2/3 God. And you unseat this person by fighting them. I mean, it's so primitive and it's hard to believe. I mean, they didn't do any governing during the film, did they? And the parts of Wakanda we didn't see, that weren't in the cities, just seemed to be totally backwards, just with special spears and stuff like this. And it just looks tacked on. And the idea that people wouldn't be like, right, okay, I'd actually like some representation or some rights, or the idea that they'd be subject to the arbitrary whims of the king when you have technology like this, which means you've got mass communication. Like, the reason tyranny in past ages was allowed to flourish was because people didn't know how bad it was. It took a massive scandal for the king to have done something really massive for like everyone in the kingdom to be up in arms. It had to affect a lot of people. It has to be something really bad, like a poll tax, It had to be something really awful. Whereas now, I mean, why wouldn't the Wakandans have some sort of version of Wakandan social media? So when a king does something, everyone knows, and so he's held accountable. I mean, like, mass communication makes tyranny really difficult, which is why it's the first thing to be censored. It's nonsense. It just couldn't exist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but,
it'll be interesting if
compare it to Saudi Arabia, where they're very rich because they have this resource, the oil, and the people live kind of comfortably, and it is a terrible dictatorship, and so you can say the same thing here. They have this resource that makes them very rich, which everybody lives comfortably. So they're just comfortable to live in the old ways.
I am absolutely happy to equivocate Saudi Arabia with Wakanda. Like that to me, Saudi Arabia is one of the most horrific tyrannical states on earth. It's like second only to North Korea, in my opinion. So, like, if we want to, I mean, that's my point, I guess. That's exactly my point. Like, Wakanda is a horrific place.
Yeah, but the Saudis don't complain either. So
I think they do. It's just that the government's repressive. I mean, I read a book about Saudi Arabia, and there are lots of problems. They're just not reported on by the government, and the government controls the media. So, it would have to be the most censorious. Wakanda would have to be the most censorious place.
And I suppose we will see it in future movies. I suppose we will see people demanding democracy.
Wakandan tyranny.
No, people demanding democracy. I mean, T'Challa will now have to change because the movie ends with okay, we are opening up to the world, yeah. And
sorry, I missed that. But we'll see them opening up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be international pressure. There's going to be international pressure for more democracy, and Wakandans are going to go out. They're going to travel the world a little bit. They're going to be like, okay, hang on a second. We've got this kind of primitive system that almost fucked us over in the last movie. Let's make things a little bit more democratic. And T'Challa is going to have his authority challenged, and he's going to have to learn how to deal with dissent and kind of have to take responsibility. Make sure he doesn't flex his power too much in order to allow his, he loves his people, so he has to allow them to disagree with him sometimes.
Well, I look forward to seeing the Wakandan Thomas Paine, who's prepared to completely BTFO the concept of monarchy. I guess the Wakandan Thomas Paine will just download a copy of The Age of Reason or something, and he'll just have amazing arguments against the concept of monarchy, and suddenly T'Challa's going to be like, what do you mean? I'm just a citizen.
No, I think what's going to happen in the next movie, we're going to be introduced to like a new character. He's going to be the quote unquote bad guy of the next movie, and he's going to be a Wakandan who basically doesn't like living under an absolute monarchy, and doesn't like just not being as free as other nations. He's going to be like, okay, we've got all this technology, we're the most advanced civilization in the world, and yet people who these primitive Americans, they have more freedoms than I do. That'll be an interesting foil. It'll be an interesting twist because all we see when we're first introduced to Wakanda, we're treated to all of these beautiful exterior shots of African skyscrapers, and we're not really led. We're not really shown what's going on inside of those skyscrapers, what's going on in the average Wakandan's life, and how it's not necessarily quite as amazing as the first glance would make it out to be. It's like, okay,
I really am looking forward to seeing their interpretation of tribal bureaucracy.
Yeah,
this is another reason that, like, the tribal culture. No, it's nonsense. Your culture reflects your civilization. If you've got high-tech civilization well, obviously you would have to have a massive bureaucracy to run such a high-tech civilization. What you would just have people in fucking offices. It's just like it doesn't make any sense that they would still have spears and do stupid ritual dances. And
yeah, it seems like the entire technology is just in one lab being created. And
exactly, and then that's even worse. If it is all the technology is created by his super genius sister, who's 16 years old, that must mean that the technology isn't very old. Have they only just invented all of this? Did she invent it all single-handedly? Like, what? It's stupid.
Well, it's based on a comic book, And,
but everyone's treating it like it's fucking serious.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, are you taking the Hulk seriously? That's
Who doesn't take the Hulk seriously, Zarathustra?
I'm
joking. I'm just joking.
People
are taking this movie too seriously.
Yeah, I've seen tweets like, I don't care if fuck, what was it? It was like the guy who said, if you give Black Panther a bad review, you are racist. I just don't care. I just don't care. I just don't care. It was something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. And it's just like, right, okay, this is nuts. Wakanda is the African version of Saudi Arabia. I mean, we would have a duty to try and free those people. we would look at them like North Korea,
Yeah. Well, something else I want to say about it.
Hashtag colonize Wakanda.
Man, if that ended up trending on Twitter, there would be an international shitstorm.
Oh my god, I kind of wanted to just for the shitstorm.
Seriously, I'm not joking, right?
Dude, make a video. Hashtag colonize Wakanda.
I could just to get it trending to piss people off, but then I'll be called a racist forever. It's like, oh man, I don't want to be.
You're already going to be called racist, bro. Just make a shitstorm. I think it'd be funny.
No, it's already going to be in the news tomorrow that you have Mein Kampf on your table.
It's true. I've got the Communist Manifesto though, and I don't know where my old copy of Das Kapital is, but I've got lots of totalitarian literature. Don't you worry about that.
The thing is, if you had like copies of Thomas Paine and John Locke, they'd say you were a crazy gun-toting libertarian with posters of Ron Paul in your house. You're screeching on the internet how Bush did 9/11.
He can still win, Ron Paul, not Bush. No, I'm joking. I'm just really holding out for it. I like Ron Paul.
All right. Well, do we have anything else to add, or should we wrap it up here?
Name another aspect of Wakanda, and I will tear it apart. The whole fucking thing annoys me.
The tunnels and the flipping thing for the trains.
What pointless maglev nonsense? Yeah. Where are they going? How big is Wakanda?
There's one thing in the movie that kind of, and I was thinking about, his sister, a teenager. So they try to make her, to make her a teenager of today, and there's a meme that she uses.
What are those
mean? Yeah, and that's the problem with movies, though. They take two years to make. So it's an old meme.
What was the meme? I missed that.
The what are those meme? The meme is so old. It was a Vine meme. You remember Vine?
Well, I remember Vine, but I never used it. But like, yeah, I've never heard of the what are those meme.
Yeah, what are those? It's about your shoes. Can't you?
I don't know that one at all. But she used a 2-year-old meme, did she? Cringe.
Yeah, she used an old meme, and it's not that old, because it was new when they wrote the movie. but the movies take from the moment movies are being written to the moment where they're released is more than 2 years, and that's a problem. It's a problem with cinema today. You can't stay. But I mean, I like the fact that they're trying. Marvel actually pretty good at being in contact with pop culture, and they're doing all sorts of things. I mean, it would be funny to see in the next, say Spider-Man, that kids are watching like Keemstar or something.
That would be freakish if Keemstar was in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
we need to hashtag that too.
Yes. No, I'm not shitting you. Like, put it on the Thinkery channel or something. Just go through like the tweets of people taking the Wakanda thing too seriously. Name the video hashtag colonize Wakanda and just start this social media shitstorm. Just to get it.
It's very tempting.
Do it. People in the comments, tell Sargon to do it.
Hashtag make Wakanda Rhodesia again.
Oh my god.
I mean, you see black people saying, "At last, we have a movie of our own." There are black movies made all the time.
How did they forget about Blade? That was the first two were fucking amazing, and the third one wasn't that bad.
No, you've misinterpreted them completely. What they're looking for is a heroic narrative for the race, not looking for a heroic narrative for a person. You can get that anywhere. But they think that we have heroic narratives for the white race.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they have a heroic narrative for the white race.
I mean,
I think that black culture in America, and probably in Africa too, but definitely in America, has dichotomized itself against white people for such a long time that that's the core of the culture now. I mean, what would black culture be without white people?
Yeah.
They need that.
I think that's what Black Panther
culture does.
I think that's what T'Challa should represent. If you do interpret the movie the manner that I interpreted it, he is, what his culture represents, the dream he had in the savannah, and the themes of family and responsibility that accompanied it. That would be black culture without the white oppressor.
Right. Right. Yeah, it would. And the thing is, it's very similar to like it's very similar to like the sort of narrative the Scots tell themselves about the English. It's ultimately it's the eternal Anglo that's done this to the world. That's given the entire world victim complexes. On behalf of my people, I apologize.
Yeah,
it's all right. We fought back.
And
you needed the French, and that's our victim narrative.
And the thing is, and if you're black, so make stories. This story, I think the comics was created by white people, initially.
It was, yeah. Well, Jewish people, but white.
Yeah, Jewish. You know what the second largest? I mean, the largest movie industry in the world is Bollywood in India. You know what the second largest movie industry is?
Probably Africa.
It's Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah.
Nigeria. And okay, so of course it's low budget movies and it's dramas and stuff like that, but it's black movies, and so start creating comic book themes, or if it's that important to you.
Well, I was actually thinking about that, right? If you think about like what Wakanda is, there is if you do think in racial lines, and it's clear that all of these people think in racial lines. Okay, all right. Let's assume that we are basically all alt-right at this point, and so we're thinking, right, what do we do for the white race? Wakanda is something to be hated forever and ever, and the king of Wakanda is the worst person on earth, because not only is he a tyrant of Saudi Arabian proportions, but imagine if the rest of like the Arab world was just being completely oppressed by everyone else. And then you had Saudi Arabia with advanced technology and nuclear missiles and a high standard of living, just saying, you know what, no, fuck you all, we're just going to leave you all alone, we're just going to be a complete isolationist and hide. If you're thinking in racial terms, that is the biggest dereliction of duty you can even conceive of. There is no bigger dereliction of duty, and that's all on the absolute monarch of that kingdom.
Yes, and that's discussed in the movie, and the movie actually shows them to be racist and not in a good light.
Yeah, but like that means that Killmonger was right.
Yeah, I mean, there is a
But Black
there is
Hitler has a point. Zarathustra Serpent, 2018.
there is a discussion there about responsibility and about power and all that, and the movie is not showing anything. There's nothing in this movie that is shown to be the in a very everything that has its negative. Every character has negative things about it, and so again, I think the movie is better than the reaction to it. I find the reaction to it to be stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with you. I'm mostly concerned about the reaction to the movie. I mean, like, okay, it's a fancy movie about a Black Kingdom that's super advanced. I wouldn't give a shit. The only reason I give a shit is because of the politics surrounding it. They're just so cancerous at the moment.
Yeah, and because Marvel has actually been good until now, and it's surprising me to not let the whole diversity gang into the movies, because I understand that the comics have been colonized by the SJWs, but in the movies, because basically they're based on old stories, you don't see it, and actually I would say that the movies are not diverse enough. It's all. All the heroes are Americans. All the superheroes in the world are Americans, except there are a couple of from chicks from Eastern Europe and now this African guy.
Hold on, Thor was from space though. He's not American.
Yeah, right, and the one from space and from Asgard, which is based on a Viking or Norse mythology. Yeah,
which is not American. So checkmate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you see it actually in there's a TV show Agents of Shield, and there it's more diverse but again it's logical. It's not forced. They bring in characters, but their stories are it has merit. It has it's good for the story. That I mean it's basically good for a story to be diverse. Yeah. If it's
yeah, I mean, I think I know it's cliche to hate on Lost now, but I was really captivated with the first few seasons of Lost because the characters who were entered into the story had a really relevant background
that's right. Yeah,
made the character interactions really fascinating. I mean, they obviously hadn't written a full-on fleshed out script for the entire season or anything, their series or anything, which is why it ended up getting shit.
Yes, well, you know who was the director.
J.J. Abrams, wasn't it?
It was J.J. Abrams, and it's the same problem with Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really annoying because I really enjoyed the first few seasons of Lost. I thought they were really well crafted characters and some really intense moments, and it was genuinely good.
Yeah.
Shame they didn't translate that into these films, isn't it?
Yeah, and there is actually one Marvel there was a series called Agent Carter, and this was destroyed by SJW because everybody in all the men. It was Agent Carter. She was in the 40s, and it was set in the 40s, and all the men around her were bumbling idiots, and this was just. And it was such a shame because the show had great style. It was 40s and showed the world of the 40s in a really nice way. And she herself, she was this kind of Lorraine Bacall, Katharine Hepburn, strong woman with style. But okay, so you have this character, but where's Humphrey Bogart and Spencer Tracy? All the men were just and there was there was one positive male character there, so he was disabled, and another one in the second season he was black, and actually the only Jewish character in the MCU was also on the show, a Jewish woman, because she just escaped the Holocaust. So basically,
timely, topical.
So they have to be a victim. So and this was just destroyed that show, and but the rest of Marvel has actually been good until now. I'm always dreading it, but until now it has been good. Basically, I have only two problems with it. One is the German characters. They are invariably mad scientists. All the Germans are mad scientists. They have like 45 already, and I'm talking about in the series or in including the TV series. And the other problem is the women are too strong physically, but that's a problem in all of action movies today.
Yeah, that's just modern movies. Like the amount of films, I don't even watch these films. I just watch the trailers, and you see just like 100-pound woman decking a room full of like tough-looking guys, and it's like, look, replace her with a man, and would you think I would believe this man can just deck this room of people? You know, why would I wouldn't find that convincing. Why would you think it would be convincing if a woman was doing it? It's just it was a thing for a character to do.
Yeah, in Black Panther as well, the women were stronger.
And the thing is, another thing about Black Panther, right? Yeah, see, I could go on for days with this film. Right now, this isn't something that actually bothers me about Black Panther. This is something that I would expect, and I'm actually genuinely surprised this sort of level of realism was introduced. But I can't believe the SJWs didn't. I mean, it's a complete hypocrisy. They didn't go nuts about the fact that Wakanda is a massively misogynistic state. Women have absolutely no option to be the head of state. It just can't happen. And they even have that conversation at one point where she says to him, maybe one day we can have a queen. And he just goes, oh, I can't remember her name, but he just says her name reproachfully. And it's just like, and she just shuts up. It's like, yeah, know your place. You're second class.
I think in subsequent movies, the SJWs might take over, and you know, as part of this democratization process, they're gonna make it. You know, let's smash the Wakandan patriarchy.
Yeah. But it is though. Wakanda is literally a patriarchy.
Yeah. So far they've gone 10 years of, and I think 18 movies. Without letting it be colonized by SJW, and I keep waiting for it to happen, but so far it hasn't.
It's definitely going to happen now, man. The SJWs have taken over Hollywood. Feminism has completely conquered Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, the Oscars, are ruined. I don't know who won the Oscars, and I don't care because it doesn't matter.
Oh my god! Right, okay. I'm going to do a video, probably tomorrow or Thursday, about the Oscars. Right. It is such phenomenal cringe, right? Jimmy Kimmel is literally lecturing a room that must be worth billions and billions of dollars in total, with all of the people in it, on how to be decent to women and to not rape women, to not touch women. It's like fucking hell. It's absolute cringe.
Yeah, no, and all those wins, all the people who won, I feel bad for them because this, it comes with an asterisk. You don't know if they won on merit or just to fill a quota. It's
absolutely, and they're still complaining that too many white people are winning, and it's like, but these are really distinguished actors. Like, in
an industry that in a white country, which that you have more white people and more white actors and more.
Did you ever watch HBO's Rome?
No.
You didn't? Fuck. I was expecting you to go, yeah, of course. Dude, you should check out HBO's Rome. It's really good. Rome? Really, really good. It's got this it's basically around Caesar's takeover of Rome, which is obviously a massively cliched time period. But the characters are so well done, and the women in it are written brilliantly. They fit the gender role of the time, and they use the power afforded to them in that role in their political lives, and so they have to operate differently to the men and things like this. And it's a brilliant series. Totally recommend it.
Okay.
Sorry, I've had a few beers, so I'm just waffling on now.
Well, shall we begin to wrap up then?
Yeah, I think we're talking for more than an hour.
All right, Sargon. Anything else to add about?
Give you things about Wakanda if you want. No, I'm joking.
All right then. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been Zarathustra Serpent, Sargon of Akkad, and myself. And as always, it has been nothing but a bunch of complete crock. Have a good one.
Bye.